So he had to come to a decision. Do I keep blasting and cruising? Or do I live a long and healthy life? Coach Greg and popular IFBB pro Seth Feroce has decided to quit taking steroids. So I've already watched the video. It's a really great video. You need to see the information that he's telling you, as so many people are taking PDs and they're going to live to regret it. So let's go through his 31-minute video together, summarize the key points, and see exactly what can you learn from Seth Feroce's mistakes.
Why I quit taking steroids. I didn't quit taking steroids. I take an HRT dose through the doctor.
Seth Feroce's been on abusive doses of steroids for over 15 years. He's 35 years of age, been on it nearly half his life, and he loved the way it made him feel. He got to 235 pounds of pure muscle, and currently he's down to 208 pounds after transitioning off from doing PDs to only doing HRT. So is he in fact off all steroids? Well, the answer is actually no, as testosterone, it's still a steroid. However, he's now getting it from his doctor. HRT prescribed from his doctor at doses that allows him to be healthy. He knew when he started taking steroids that he would want to do it for the rest of his life. He knew there would be a day that would come where he would have to stop. And the reason is because of his health. He was no longer healthy.
While I was into bodybuilding, I didn't really take care of myself that well. I did an okay job. I'd say I'd give myself like a C- to a C.
He rarely, if ever, got blood work. He didn't want to know. What if there's some bad news? I'll have to stop, and I don't want to stop because I'm addicted to this look. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the way it makes me look. I am heavily involved in this lifestyle, and my identity, it surrounds itself from being a jacked bodybuilder. I don't know any other way. I want to keep going. And so because he neglected blood work, he didn't know the damage it was doing to his body.
I do my cardio, and I'm doing cardio. That's good enough, right? But I'm still eating 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.
He would blast taking very high doses of PDs, and then when it was time to come off, he'd say, well, I'll do 500 milligrams, maybe 1.5 cc's a week. Still abusive doses, but eventually it took a toll on his health. It's stories like these that made me want to partner with Let's Get Checked. With Let's Get Checked, you can get your blood work done from the comfort of your own home. You're nervous, your insurance provider will find out, or you just don't want to go to the doctor, you can do it at home. They send a package to your door, you put some drops of blood in a tube, mail it back, and a few days later, they give you the results. Are you in fact healthy, or are you doing damage? Do you have low testosterone levels, high testosterone levels? What damage are you doing to your body? This information is crucial to allowing you to decide if you are being proactive with your health. If you're not proactive, you don't know what's going to happen to you. Getting your blood work done allows you to know, are you in fact healthy? Do you need to stop doing what you're doing, or do you need additional support? Unfortunately, it's not available for Canadians right now, but it is available for the United States, the United Kingdom, and Ireland. I highly recommend you go to letsgetchecked.com and enter code GREG30 to get 30% off of your first purchase with Let's Get Checked.
I can't stress enough going to get checked after blasting the fuck out of some gear.
Seth strongly recommends that if you're doing gear, that you go get checked. You need to go see your doctor. Don't just do this in secret.
Hemoglobin, blood pressure, resting heart rate, all of them were high.
So some of the problems they discovered when he got his blood work and was checked by a doctor, his hematocrit and hemoglobin, they were through the roof. Resting heart rate, almost 100 beats per minute. That's what my heart rate is when I'm doing a walk, doing cardio. 100 beats a minute. Mine's 47. Imagine, not healthy. Blood pressure, 150/90. That is high blood pressure. Not good. And he's only 35 years of age. So when you're young, you want to be the best. You want to be on the Olympia. You don't want to look the best you possibly can. You don't think of the repercussions. You don't think about what you're doing at that moment, what it can do to you down the road. As you get older, you start to appreciate life more. You realize that you can't take it for granted. You can't just blast and do everything you want. and not think about it. You need to be conscious of the decisions you're making and realize that if you do something now, it may in fact haunt you for the rest of your life. So because of his blood work and checking with his doctor, he straightened up his diet and got off the gear. He got healthy again. Everything looked hunky-dory. Decided, I'm going to go back on testosterone. Not as crazy as I used to, but a respectable dose. And guess what? Got blood work done again. Nope, you are no longer healthy. You're going straight back to that place you went the last time you're on a cycle. So he had to come to a decision. Do I keep blasting and cruising? Or do I live a long and healthy life? He chose the long and healthy life.
And at that point, that's when I was like, I'm done. I gotta be done. I have a son. I have thriving businesses, number one.
So you might be thinking it's no big deal. You just stop. Steroids aren't addictive. Well, they're not physically addictive really, but there are some mental and physical addictions that people don't really talk about all the time. The fact that you look in the mirror and you don't see the same person looking back at you. You can't lift the same weights you used to do. You can't recover as well. You just don't feel like the person you were. When you're on steroids, you're oftentimes more aggressive, have more energy, and you're more amped to do everything. So when you come back off of them, you no longer feel the way you did. Just think of it. He was on steroids for over 15 years. He's now 36 years of age, and he identified himself as being a massive bodybuilder his whole life. To most of you, you see him now and you're thinking, he's a massive bodybuilder. And yes, he still is. But in comparison to what he was before, he's different. And you have to be able to accept the fact that you're going to be different once you come off. I know for myself, I haven't done a cycle in about 2 years. The last time I did a competition. I'm only on HRT, 120 milligrams of testosterone a week. I feel good, but in comparison to how I'd feel if I took a lot higher dose, it's not the same. You have to get used to going to the gym and no longer training to break a world record. It is different. I just train to be healthy, and that is different than training when you're a competitive bodybuilder to be the best that you can be, to be the ultimate version of yourself. It is not easy, and the struggle is real.
I don't want to say regrets. I said I didn't have any, but if there was things I did have left unfinished business on the stage. I could have competed more. I could have did great things on stage, but I didn't. And at this point in my life, I'm not doing it.
So although he says he doesn't have any regrets, he says if there was one regret, I would have competed more. When I was at my best, at my prime, I would have competed more. So he encourages everyone. Compete when you can because you will not be able to do it forever. I've done 59 competitions, so I certainly have used Seth Feroce's life. Perhaps I was on HRT, I time traveled to the future and could see what he was going to say, so I did more competitions than last time.
I'll say that to every athlete out there, compete more. Go enjoy it.
I do want to add to this. If you're unsure if you want to compete, you don't know if you want to take on that challenge, don't take on the challenge. If you're only going to half-ass a prep, it is not worth it. So if you do decide to compete on stage, you need to give it 100%, and you can't do so unless you commit 100%. You fully commit. You want to do the best that you can. It is hard work. You don't decide to climb Mount Everest on a whim. Yeah, I think I'll climb it. Maybe tomorrow I'll decide in the morning. You need to know, I can't wait to do this mountain climb. You need to be pumped. Doing a competition, it is not easy. You have to be prepared for the mental, physical struggles of the diet. It's not easy. So if you do want to compete, make sure you really want to compete.
Evolving as a person. You can't stay the same motherfucker forever.
So he's saying you can't stay the same person forever. You have to evolve as a person. And just because you were taking steroids and were a competitive bodybuilder at that time doesn't mean you have to remain that. You can evolve as a person. So for example, I was a competitive bodybuilder, turned IFBB pro, competed as an IFBB pro, bodybuilder, then switched, transitioned to classic physique, changed. And now, what am I doing now? I'm still working out, still training harder than last time, but I'm racing a bicycle in the basement on Zwift. Think about it. 5 years ago, would I have thought I'd be racing a bicycle indoors? Of course not, but that's what I'm doing. So I decided I need to be healthy. I didn't feel so good weighing 230 pounds. So 5 years ago, I was 230 pounds, much bigger and stronger than I am now. But now, 192 pounds doing bicycle races. So you evolve as a person. Now, I see my health is way more important than I did back then. So we need to evolve as a person. You change. Years ago, I was a school teacher, now making YouTube videos. So you never know what the world's going to throw at you. You just have to accept what's given to you and make the best decisions for you at the time.
Felt like I was losing a piece of me because I love testosterone. Who doesn't like taking 1,000 mgs of test?
Absolutely. When I was taking 700 milligrams of test only, I felt like Superman. It was amazing. In comparison to 120, it's not the same. Of course, it's still good. It still works, but not as much as 700. So when you get used to feeling like Superman, even Captain America doesn't feel so good. So before you make the decision to take testosterone or other PEDs, realize this: all good things must come to an end. So as great as it feels at that moment, it will not last forever, and you have to be able to accept the fact that you won't be on that high forever.
I sit here right now so clear-headed with business, with family, with my thoughts of what I want to do with my life, that it is wild.
If you evolve as a person, you will in fact find something you love just as much. I like racing on a bicycle just as much as I like training in the gym. In fact, right now I like it more. So you will in fact evolve and learn to love what you're doing. So just because you're on steroids now doesn't mean that you can't go off and identify something different. I'm not a massive, huge bodybuilder anymore. I still have muscle, but I'm not massive, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
You learn to like what you're doing, and the main goal is to have your health for the long term. So please do your cardio, 150 minutes of cardio a week, and find something active that you enjoy. Find a passion that you can do for the rest of your life. Maybe you like weightlifting now, maybe you won't do it forever, so please find something else. For me, it's bike riding. For you, it might be hiking. It might be skiing, playing badminton. Do something.
At the end of the day, get your shit checked. Go get your blood work done.
So he says, all of these decisions, they're up to you. You can't listen to your coach or some video where the person says, take this, take that. It comes down to you in the end. But if you decide to take anything, it's your responsibility to go get your blood work, to be proactive with your health. Do not take life for granted. Do not just blast and take things and think, I'll worry about it later, because later might be too late.
The whole goal, at least from my perspective, is to become a better version of yourself.
And is Seth Feroce going to lose all his muscles? Absolutely not. 200 milligrams of test a week, probably double the testosterone that any normal man would produce. He's going to have most of his muscle, not as much as when he's blasting, but he's going to keep most of it. It's plenty. So although he's slightly smaller, he's still going to look like a massive IFBB pro bodybuilder, although just not as big as he was before.
It took me a while to get to this point over the past year, and it wasn't easy, and I'm glad that I'm in this position, and it's going to continue to be a challenge for me, and I look forward to it.
Hopefully you learned something from this and that you'll take your health in hand. Please get your blood work done. We don't want anyone dying an early death that could have been prevented. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IP Pro. Those are the bloops. Watch at least one. Don't forget to get my freaking cookbook. Help you lose weight while eating delicious foods. Got training books, coaching with me and my team. And until next time, I am out. Code 30, letsgetchecked.com.